Lara Joe. Give it a few minutes and then we'll come on in. There it is. Okay. Behind my phone? Oh. Alright. Let's see. Yeah. Okay.
The following is a pre-recorded.
And no one may join us today, and that's okay. I am Lara Joe, SirenSong lover. I'm going to be talking about some really out there stuff today. So, hold on to your hats, my friends, the tinfoil hats. Yeah. Although, even though, yeah. Okay, so, I am Lara Joe, SirenSong lover. I'm going to talk about some pretty heavy stuff today, and that's okay. I love how people don't want to watch because then they don't want to accept what I'm saying, or they pretend like they're not watching so that they can say, oh, I didn't know. No, you know. You watched. Yeah. It's been some heavy few days, and I couldn't figure out why the attacks were so heavy until I got dreams that help illuminate. So, my friends, yeah, the mystery that surrounds me is pretty hot, heavy, and thick, and it's taken me a little bit. So, when we are born, the dark forces know who we are before we know who we are, and our birth charts, our records are kept in the Vatican because they watch us. And they keep tabs on us because they want to try to stop anyone that could potentially discredit what's going on. And I've talked about this before, how the U.S. government has had a contract with the aliens that expired this year. It was enacted in 1944, which is a curious year for me because that was the year my mother was born. So there's like the first, and it's funny because my mom, they had called her an alien. Like her name was Eileen, and people would accidentally call her alien. Well, now I realize that wasn't that far off from the truth. And I don't know if my mom's my mom, and that's something for the big boys, the big letter agencies to disclose, or for me to find out on my own, because when people don't want to disclose stuff, source, the creator, enlightens me. And so the dark forces know who we are long before we're born, where it's written in our stars and they know who we are. So and I know who I am, and I also know I've been a government experiment. They've experimented on me since I was a child, and they tried to do everything to keep me asleep, and they tried to do everything to end me, especially with the dark forces. And here is the part of that. All of the spiritual realm has different rankings, so it doesn't matter how big a dark lord you have behind you, it doesn't supersede certain rankings. And to quote the religious texts that everybody loves so much, which have some merit to them, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. So they did a lot of harm to me, thinking I wasn't anything. A lot of people took a lot of assignments without actually understanding who I was. So they came against me not realizing that the ranking that they had, or the demons that they sent after me, didn't outrank the creator. And not to say like I'm special. There are tons of other aliens here, or hybrids, or mythical creatures, and they've all tried to keep us asleep. And that is the point that we're at right now, is needing to wake up. So I'm talking about heavy shit, my love. Levi loves you. We are talking about government conspiracy theories. And I will send you positive vibes all I can. What I am going to say is that we've been lied to. And like the Alphabet Boys, the government, they owe me a lot of money. And they've done a lot to me. They've tried to end me in a lot of ways and send a lot of dark magic towards me. So what I'm sharing here, hopefully, is truth. And I know you probably won't believe me. No one does. They've done everything to discredit me. Yet the longer I've been alive, and the more evidence I get, and the more messages I get from the Creator, the more I realize, yeah, no, they've been trying to exterminate humans. Or mythical beings, mythical creatures. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. But anyway, I have discovered that I have been a social science experiment by the government. And there's a very large corporation that has been trying to end me. Yet this very large corporation is backed by the government, and they have... No. Politicians being praised, not going to happen. I'm going to talk about that kind of into this. And I love that because that has been hitting on me the last 2 days. I'm refusing to vote, and I'll talk about that. So this problem that I find myself in the middle of, there's a very large corrupt corporation where I live, and it's very, very corrupt. It's very, very big. It's very, very backed by the government, and they've been trying to wipe me off the map. And how I realized how it all led to that source was because all of the doctors that I was going to see were all funded by this corporation. And they've been lying. This corporation has been lying. They've been violating my boundaries. They've been trying to kill me in so many various ways, which I would love to talk about. And it's because I'm a threat. But the corporation greed has gone into the medical field. Like, I have doctors, lawyers, police force, the military, like I say, this corporation, realtors, you name it. Every faction of life has violated and exploited and tried to end me in some way. Politics. Let's talk about this for a moment, because it's a hot button issue right now. And there's a few problems that I see, and this may touch some nerves. Where it bothers me is neither of these politicians are doing anything for the children. The exploitation, the human and sex trafficking that's going on with our children and with everyday people, the experimentation, the exploitation, the on humans. Because, like, I am a social experiment. They have been experimenting on me with so many different avenues, and that happened since I was a child. So neither of these politicians, I mean, they're two wings of the same bird. Neither of them are doing anything to stop what's happening to humans, everyday people, which is the people that fund their campaign, right? If they didn't have us to agree with them and to stand behind them, then they wouldn't have a party. So I'm not going to praise politicians. It's the politicians that are generating this against humans. Everyday people. Like, I'm not a dangerous person, yet I've been treated like a criminal. And again, that's because somewhere along the way, someone put a rubber stamp and said, torture this girl so she don't make it out alive. And they've been torturing me, personally, since I was a little kid. They've been trying to poison me and end me since I was a little kid. So, I'm not going to praise politicians because, like I say, they're the ones that are allowing human trafficking to go along. They're allowing, yeah, no. So for me, the whole system needs to be reformed. The whole legal system needs to be reformed. They are intentionally taking away children. They are intentionally killing people. The government, the legal system, the police force, the military, they're intentionally exploiting, experimenting, and all of that jazz. The medical gaslighting is crazy. And what they've done, again, in the medical field, and I came from the medical field, so then they gaslit me, they did all kinds of shit, and then they tried to make me look crazy so I couldn't whistleblow on that. No, I can tell you all kinds of nasty shit and corruption in the medical field. I can talk about the corruption in the realty industry because I've also touched that. So all of it's corrupt. There's agents in every place. And when I say that they all owe me a lot of money, they do. They all owe everyone a lot of money. But at what point do we stand up and say, no longer me, no longer my kids? This corporation, like I say, that has violated my boundaries, well, they are funded by the government. And that was a funny point that my ex used to say. They're like, oh, aviation can't go under because it's funded by the government. Well, what is the government trying to do? They're trying to steal, lose, exploit, traffic your children. Because there's a lot of money in children. There's a lot of money in innocence and causing pain and keeping us in fear. So, I came to some realizations today. Lots of realizations. It's been a lot of heavy few days, and I've had to do a lot of introspection and a lot of self-healing and realizing, yeah, no, the corruption goes from the very bottom all the way up to the top. And it's time that we stand up and say no more. Like I stood up and I said, I am not for sale. I'm not for sale. And everyone that's been violating my boundaries, that's a violation of universal law. So you're not just violating me, you're violating the Creator's law, and there is a ranking, a hierarchy to violation in spiritual law. So we have to start as humans standing up and saying, I am not for sale. I am not a guinea pig. Yeah. I also figured out this part of it. Like, I've been left very large amounts of money, and I'm owed lots of money, right? Like, I've been left large inheritances, and the government tried to take that. Well, they're trying to take that because, A, they've been spending a lot of money on trying to control humans and experiment on us and do all the wrong things. So they're taking money and they're experimenting, and they're taking our children and they're experimenting. And like I say, there's all big money here. They're keeping us sick in the medical field. Let's talk about that. How long have these medical fields been around, like the medical companies, yet they haven't found a cure for anything? Because they want you to be a consumer for life. They want you to be sick. They aren't curing anything. They're making you sicker. And that's all by design, because a sick consumer is a consumer for life. They don't like it. Like for me, I've learned a lot of self-healing and energetics. Well, they don't want that. They definitely don't want that mainstream, because if you can heal yourself, you won't need to go to the doctor. If you can find natural remedies, you won't need to go to the doctor. So like when I lost my health insurance, and I lost dental, then I had to learn, like, how do I take care of my teeth better with natural remedies? And they don't like that. They want you to go to the dentist. They want you to be sick. Well, I don't know about you. I'm tired of being sick. And I'm tired of being controlled by people that don't have my best interests in heart. And I know I lost a lot of people talking about all this, and I don't really care. Yeah. So, money was stolen from me to be able to fund their corruption and their greed, and it's owed to me. And legally, on paper, I'm already extinct, except for I would like to know how they prove that. Especially because, like, there's doppelgangers of me, and they falsified records, except for I have a lot of tattooing. So any bodies that were used of me don't match the ink. And because I've had a progression of tattooing, they would have to prove that too. I want to talk about how that relates to the spiritual world, because in ranks as well, and dark forces as well. Because I had a tattoo artist that was taking and using my blood products after tattooing. I know he was. He won't admit it, and he'll lie about it. And it's just, intuition. It's scary because I hear all the time, you're right, you're right, you're right, until I start talking about the things they don't want to hear, and then they get real silent, and then they run away because they don't want me to know that I'm right. Anyway, so my tattoo artist was taking my tattoo work, and he's heavy into demonology, or however you say that. I'm pretty sure, using my tattooing byproducts for sacrifice and ritual, except for demons have a rank and an order. So even the demons that he used that for, that he potentially could have petitioned to, well, those demons have to answer to the Creator. And when those demons come to me because they were summoned out of their sleep for bullshit, they're not going to do his bidding. And I've watched how his life fell apart after he fucked around with me. So he can't pretend. Like, I watched his life fall apart. And everybody that's tried to harm me or lay hands on me or fuck with me, I watched their life fall apart. And that's because, again, who they're petitioning, they weren't feeding those ancestors or those guardians or those demons or those deities before they sent them to me. They just woke them up out of slumber, so they were already mad about that. But then the other part of it is that they have to follow the order of command. So, yeah. All right. I know that was a lot. Levi loves you. Are you still in my love, or did I lose you? If I lost you, I understand. That was a lot that I just talked about. The Alphabet Boys, the government, very large aviation corporation, they owe me a lot of money, and their rent is due today. I'm going to talk about some icky stuff for a minute, because I have a very extensive, I've been sexually abused and throughout my whole life. And it's really gross when you see all these men. Like my therapist, I thought he was uncomfortable when I was talking about it during therapy. No, I realized that actually turns him on. It turns him on when I talk about sexual abuse. Just like one of the contractors that was sent to me, which now I realize is funded by this corporation in this corrupt town that I live in. He was a veteran, combat vet, and had severe PTSD, except for he would talk about how they would make the soldiers listen to rape survivors talk about their abuse to try and make them cry. Well, no, I realized that those combat vets that were listening to people talk about rape, that turned them on and that excited them. And that gave them another outlet to be able to abuse women and children. Because it's like all the horror they had been through, well, now they found someone that they could put even more horror and trauma on, which is disgusting. And I'm tired of this world thinking like, oh, it's okay to hurt other people. Tired of it. I also came to this concept yesterday. Having a lot of people trying to compete with me where they don't compare. People don't have the experience that I have, yet they're trying to wear my crown. And that is something as well. is that if you want to be someone so bad, you're going to find out how they sat in that position. So I've had people trying to take my spiritual gifts. If you want that so bad, you're going to learn how I was indoctrinated into that, and you're going to experience it. And I'm going to tell you, it was terrifying. Just like the women that wanted my blessings so bad, you're going to learn every inch of what I had to go through to get those blessings. So people that want to be me, you are in for a rude awakening, because you're going to have to go through all of that trauma that I went through. Anyway, so I am ready for the corrupt corporations to pay me in full. And because, yeah, I talked about how the U.S. government had a treaty with the aliens. It was enacted in 1944. It was an 80-year treaty. Time is up. For all the experimentation that you've done on the aliens, for all the experimentation that you've done on their descendants, your time is up. All that money you stole to try and corrupt the system, corrupt the file, make it work in your favor, it's due now. And like I say, I have tons of paper trail receipts to the company, the alias that has perpetuated a lot of this. But again, they were doing that at the behest of the government. Just like my parents were government officials, like they worked for the government. It's really easy to figure out where my torture and my abuse comes from when you trace it right back down the line to the U.S. government. So my refusal to vote is because neither of these candidates are stopping the corruption and the exploitation. Okay. I know that was all a lot to talk about in 22 minutes, and I'm sure I'm going to hopefully talk about more because there's a lot more that can be said. Yet, Badger. Okay. Moral of the story. I'm owed a lot of money by a lot of people, by a lot of alphabet boys, and their rank does not supersede the creators. They should have learned that by now. They have tried to, like I say, take me off the planet, and yet I'm still alive. They've tried to call me crazy and tinfoil hat, and yeah, that's true. But that's because they've indoctrinated us and programmed us to believe their agenda for way too long. So, of course, the ones that are awake to the bullshit seem like crazy conspiracy theorists. Yeah, I'm sober. Have been for a long time. That's also how I saw through all that bullshit, too. I mean, nicotine and caffeine, but the other shit's sober. Even though they've tried to call me everything under the sun of not sobriety, and that's not true either, so. There's a lot of questions that these boys need to answer to. And there's a lot of payment that needs to be done. And if you're a watcher and you're a part of that, you need to start stepping forward and paying. Today. Okay. That was a lot to drop. That was a lot to talk about. A lot to feel. I've been going through it. My tiny little body has been going through it today. It's been going through it for the last 4 years as we've gone through a spiritual awakening. That was the other part, because 2024 was the end of that contract. We all, as a global humanity, got woken up in 2020. That was the earth saying to the government, hey, your time's up. Your rent's due. 2020 was a wake up to all of the starseed sleepers. So if you made it, cool. If you didn't, I'm sorry. If you have no idea what I'm talking about and you think I'm crazy, welcome to the shit show. Hold on to your hats. It's about to get a lot weirder and scarier. Because you are going to start seeing spaceships come and take people. And I'm not the only one that talks about that. I'm not the only one that's seen that. That's like a bunch of this year's out there. Of course, they get ostracized and called a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists, and then they suddenly disappear. But, you know, we'll just say that's confirmation burps. They aren't disappearing. They're being taken out. Except for like me, I've already been taken out on paper. I've already been taken out spiritually. They've tried, except for I'm still here. Because their will does not supersede the Creator's. You guys should check your ranks before you came for people. Because you don't know who protects us. Like, for me, I'm very heavily protected by a lot of masculine energy. So when people try to get too friendly with me, they get bounced by a masculine. Real heavy, real hard. Okay. So, sage your space. We need to be cleansing. I am going to pull some cards here. This is from the Chosen Ones 144. Maj, you got the T. Sage your space. DNA upgrade, which is what we are going through right now. It's what all of us are going through. And that's the other part. Spell work. So we're all going through a DNA upgrade. We've all been under spell work. And, you know, like, okay, so let's use an example of as above, so below. The government has been hitting everyday citizens with energy weapons. And the earth has been hitting all of us with energy weapons. So even though they're trying to control our fate on a micro scale, their fate is being controlled on a macro scale. You can't do to the little people and not expect it to be done to you. So it's all, as a collective, we are all meant to upgrade. We are all going through the ascension. We are all going through DNA upgrades. Those of us who have realized it and work with that DNA upgrade as we go and are trying to help others, that's what we were sent to do. So when I talk about energy work, when I talk about healing, and no one wants to do it because that's too much or too scary or too XYZ. Well, if you want to ascend, you have to be willing to go through the energetics and do the healing. Edgar Casey, which was a well-known prophet, let me pull this up for a second. He had said how sound healing was the revolution. That's how we were going to heal. Well, I actually had come in contact with a gentleman who shared a birthday with him, and I'm very much into sound healing, and that was something that Badger. That was something that I introduced to this gentleman, was some sound healing. Badger, stop. Stop. Okay. Okay. Edgar Casey was an American clairvoyant born in 1877. He spoke on healing, reincarnation, dreams, the afterlife, past life, nutrition, Atlantis, and future events. And like I say, he spoke very much on how sound healing was the way to heal. Not medicine, sound healing. It's also why they contaminate our music. That's also why they put in harmful frequencies in our music. So it's being careful of what you listen to, what you watch. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What else? Psychic powers, clairvoyant. This is knowing shit. This is part of me. Like, I know shit without knowing shit. And like I say, when I'm right and it's good, people want to know. They want me to give them free answers. And when I'm right on shit and they don't like the answers, they scurry away and get real quiet. I know I'm right, especially when the receipts come out. It's like how I had spoken on a certain individual who I had said was very dangerous, and I was afraid of being around him because I didn't trust his behavior. And then he ended up, and I warned people in the realty office that had recommended, I warned them about so many men, saying these men are dangerous, they should not be in women's homes. And these were people that, because money talks and bullshit walks, they kept allowing these predators, these assholes, these sickos into our house, into our homes, into our lives. And when one of those contractors that was recommended by this realty office, which again, part of this corrupt company here, funded, and he popped a woman. And I sent that realtor a text. I was like, hey, you were warned about this guy. I warned the supervisors about so many men. Hey, you were warned about this guy being inappropriate. Yet they said I was crazy and that I should get over it and I should forgive and the past is in the past. Yet they keep letting these men into the house of these women, and then women are getting hurt. No accountability on any of the parts, and that's what's upsetting. You knew he was dangerous. You were warned. You wanted to silence me instead of actually taking this guy off the street. Your hands are guilty. You're bloody too. So for all the women who just let that man ride, you're just as guilty. Your hands are just as bloody. You're going down for his sins too. Have fun. Anyhow. Alright. So to all the women who let dangerous men into my lives, fuck you. Because that turn, it's coming for you. You will suffer the same abuse at the hands of that man that you said was okay. Or your children will, or your friends, or your mom, or your sister. That was one of the things that I said, because they didn't give two shits about me because they thought I was bad. And again, super Christian women clutching their pearls, clutching their cross. They didn't give two shits about me. Well, what about your mama? Would you want that man in your house with your mama? Would you want them in that house with your sister in Christ? Would you want them in your house with your daughter or your daughter-in-law? Because if it was okay for me, then please, by all means, let that same man into your house. Oh, it won't happen to you? Oh, that's not how that works, girl. Or to the men that think like, oh, that man won't turn on me. Yes, he will. He has no value for your life. He sees you as an object to be utilized for his pleasure. So even if you think you're a man and that won't happen, it will. Or it'll happen to your kids. If you're a man that has daughters and you let another man grape and abuse and lie and steal and beat women, that'll be your daughter. So, it's never fun to talk about. Yet, I'm tired of people allowing other people's bad behavior to continue on and not do anything about it. Because it is your kid. It is your wife. It is your mom. It is your daughter. It is your sister. It's your brother. It's you. It's your father. It's your grandfather. Ooh. Calling for reform in the whole fucking system. And I'm calling for the payment that's owed to me. So, you owe me money. You better pay. Because, yeah, you cannot hide your secrets any longer. And silencing me doesn't mean that it won't be found out. It actually makes you look more incriminating. Because then everything that I've been seeing and speaking on, because I've been seeing and speaking on this for a long ass time, then it all is true. Everything you've done to me that I've been speaking on, because I've been speaking on it a long time, it's all true. Oof. This whole town that I live in, stupidly corrupt. The spiritual community as well. Ugh. That was part of it too. And then they all seem so shocked. No, man. Like the hoodoo practitioners, they get shocked when I catch on to them, and after they've thrown hands with me, and I'm like, do you not realize that your conjuring is not more powerful than divine source God creator? Or those that try to use the Bible to justify what they do, and then I have to tell them how they are not following the principles that they shoved down my throat, yet they want me to follow them. You know, like those matronly mamas that are Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, they should know, touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. So if you are one of the Jehovah faith and you follow the Bible, you will know that everything you've been doing makes you dirty. Because it's all God's creatures, right? And I am a prophet. And you didn't follow your teachings. So that, my friend, smells of hypocrisy. God doesn't take kindly to that. I mean, you're going to meet your maker, but when you realize this hell that you brought upon yourself, the imprisonment, the fines, the death that comes for you or your loved ones, you bought into that. Because you didn't treat me right when you had the chance. You actually hurt me and you thought you were covered by God. You are not. Okay. I've got some more in here. Divine protection and intervention. God didn't take kindly to you abusing, highly ranking in the spiritual world. I've been speaking on this about myself for a hot fucking minute. That's why when people try to come for me and I'm like, you should check the ranks. Do not worry. I know, I'm not worried. I'm worried about eating today, and I'm worried about being able to fund to be able to keep coming back. Like, I know vaping, it's not part of it. No, that's part of how I keep coming back. So if I can't afford shit, yeah. My worries are financial natures, because that's the other part of it. Like the U.S. Postal Service redirecting my mail and the packages and everything that I need. It's all been withheld. You have a big mission on earth. I know. That's why it's hard. That's why I have so much opposition. I have twin flame mission. If you're in the twin flame mission, come talk to me. There's a lot we can talk about. And goddess energy. And that is true. Somebody I had spoken to from here about a month ago had said how he's like, you're a goddess. And I was like, no, I know. I've known for a minute. And again, the dark forces have also known that I am goddess energy. And that's also why they've been doing what they're doing. But their time is up. So, alphabet boys, government, aviation industry, you know who you are. Pay me. Now. Today. Everything you owe me. Everything you withheld from me, it's owed. Today. Your ranking is not higher than what has been placed on me. You should have checked that before you messed with me. Or you should have known that your mission to try to stop one woman, that's the other part of it. You're not powerful if you have to take a whole group to work against me. You're not powerful if you have to use women, children, men, unsuspecting bystanders to try to end me or work against me. You're not powerful at all. Yet I am one woman who has stood against so many groups, so many families, so many friends that turned to foes all alone with the grace of God, with the grace of Creator. So you're not powerful if you have to get a group to go against me. And for the Jehovah's Witnesses, again, if you've been working against one of the Creator's children, you're not powerful. And you aren't doing what you think you're doing, and you're not who you say you are, and you're not devout. That's your answer to talk to God, though. Or Jehovah, sorry. Jehovah. That's your answer to talk to. Yet I'm here to tell you that you have angered something you did not have any right angering. And now it's time to pay me. I love how my shit froze. Okay. Oh, man. Yeah, I was supposed to have, I had gotten a notification on, and this isn't the first time. And like I say, the Postal Service, I mean, my parents came from the Postal Service, but it isn't the first time the Postal Service has lost my shit. But I did have a package that I was identified that I needed to sign for that was supposed to be coming on Saturday. I never signed for anything. Package was never delivered. Just another life's mystery of how the Alphabet Boys and the U.S. government is messing with me and withholding resources that I need. You guys wanted help. Actually, you guys have fucked up so bad and you need my help, except for the only way to get my help is through compliance and me being alive. Well, starving me, abusing me, bullying me it never makes me compliant. Ever. So until I'm treated right, I don't help. I'm not going to help. I refuse to help. You know that, and I know that. So your unwillingness to actually do as you've been told, because remember, we go back to that contract that you had ended, so you no longer have protection, and all your rents do. And you know, I mean, just gonna say this. They've tried to threaten me with death. They've tried to kill me. Can't be done, right? They don't have the rank. They've tried. They've tried to send so many people at me. They've tried to send so many things at me. Yet, there are some children that were born not fearing death. Because we know that, A, death is a part of life, and nothing really ever dies. B, death would have been a far kinder fate than anything that anyone has put us through. And some of us know we're not going to hell. I'm not afraid of death because I know I'm not going to hell. This here on earth, this was hell. The people that have hurt me, they do fear death, and they should be praying for salvation, but they're doing it in the wrong way. So, okay. I know that that's all heavy shit again to talk about, yet it's things that have been weighing. You know, because people ask me if I'm scared, or, no, death was far kinder than what you guys have done to me. And I know what your hell looks like. I walk in it, I live in it. I know where you're going for fucking with me. So all those that fear brimstone and have been sinning while they're alive and thinking that some other guy's gonna pay for it. No, my friend. Hell is hell. And you're going there because you refuse to do the right thing. Whew. I know that's all heavy and a lot, yet some of this needs to be talked about. And like I say, I know I'm right, because the really scary shit that I talk about that I'm right about, people get real quiet and then they don't want to hear it. No, man. Just because you don't want to hear it means that you're going to have a way ruder, harsher wake-up call when it smacks you. guess they'll keep saying that. Government and Outfit Boys, you owe me a lot of money. It's time to pay. I know that makes me sound crazy. I don't care. Don't force someone to the point of breaking. Because then you're going to find out why they were so peaceful and why you fucked up by disturbing that peace. Don't push people to the point of being crazy and then being like, oh, you see, she's crazy. No, man. Because I have all the receipts of how you pushed me to that. Right? And because we live in a digital era, it's all recorded. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that for a moment. How we came out of the age of Pisces, which was 2,500 years-ish, give or take. And that was the age of Jesus. That was, we followed a guru, a fake guru, given to us by the church. Well, now we are in the age of Aquarius, which is the age of information. It's all because Aquarius is an air sign. It all comes through the ether. So think the internet. Well, in the age of Aquarius, you cannot get away with anything because it's there for everyone to see. And there's no way to destroy the records of it. Everybody thinks it's funny, like, oh, it's internet crime, no one will know. No, every keystroke is recorded. Every snapshot, picture you take, that's recorded. So we moved out of the age of the Pisces, following a fake white dude as a guru, and into the age of Aquarius, which is about information and air. So, I've been sitting on this all week. It's funny how history is his story. His story, which eradicated the feminine out of it, always makes the man like the hero and the woman the helpmate. Except for without the woman, there would be no man. You have to have the cosmic womb in order to be alive. So eradicating women from your history makes you look like the asshole. The other part of it is after Jesus was crucified, it was Mary who carried on, taught the disciples, had the mystery schools. So it was his teaching, yet it was her bringing the information. Except for it wasn't just his teaching. He needed a high priestess in order to do his healing. So when you all wrote the high priestess out of the story, you fucked up. You need women. Stop eradicating. Okay, you have a big mission on Earth, and stay calm. Remain calm at this time. Yes, because there are psychic attacks. All right. I'm just going to put this out. So, as I went to take the dog for a walk this morning, and I talk how often about how the sheriff cruised by my house often, and I have a lot of visitors that cruise by. And lo and behold, this morning as I went out for my walk with my puppo, turned around, because I had my back to the road, turned around, and sure enough, there goes a sheriff, one of the supervisors, in a very boldly marked truck cruising by. It's like, okay, Alphabet Boys, you ready? You ready to talk? Because come on down. You got a lot to talk about. I don't settle for anything less than the truth. That's the other part. When people try to lie or gaslight, yep, no, this conversation's over. So I know they're cruising. I know they're waiting. I know they have to protect me because there are monsters that have been let out on the loose to attack me, and because you need me alive and compliant. What's the next step, boys? Y'all sent monsters to try to end me. Well, you need me alive and compliant, so now they've got to keep those monsters in line. This seems like a losing game for the home team. Again, that all makes me seem crazy. Or just right on. Gosh. It's so funny when people, and because people say all the time, you're right, you're right, you're right. And then when I see through their mask and see the really dark shit that they don't want to talk about, they stop saying you're right and they start disappearing. It doesn't mean that I'm not right. It just means that now they have to hide their hand because I've caught on to them. So don't lie to a spiritual woman ever. We'll see you, we'll smell you, we'll heal you, We will heal you. That's the fucking problem too. People don't want to be healed, but we'll hear you, we'll smell you, we'll dream you, we'll any of that. Light worker. Here's what a lot of people don't realize. A lot of us, the really big ones with the really big missions, we're not just light workers. We're shadow workers too. We work both sides because we were raised in these heavy environments. But we didn't become the monsters. That was the other part. They knew who I was from a very young age, and they tried to formulate me into them. Turn me into them. Except for that was never my mission. They couldn't break me like they broke my brother or my sister or my friends. While I was in it, I was not of it. So, okay. I know, lots of chatting. I don't know if anyone actually ever sees this or hears this. I'm ready for the whole world to see it and the whole world to hear it and say that's not right. Because if they've done it to me, they're doing it to you. We've all been under a spell. Even the ones who perpetuate all this pain, they've all been under a spell. They've all been indoctrinated into that. It's time to wake up and shrug off the chains and say, no more, this stops with me. And it has to. I gotta say, that treaty is over. They can't have us under a spell anymore. 2020 was our awakening. 2024, this was, their debts are due. They had 4 years of decades to fix, but they didn't and they couldn't, and now we're awake. We're waking up and saying, hey, that's not right. Or, like I say, the ones that were doing the bad shit are waking up and going, that wasn't me. Well, it was, but it was because you were under a spell. So, wake the fuck up. Okay. Atlantis. I love that. Especially with how my path has gone is very relevant to that. So for the guy who's rebuilding Atlantis out in Texas, that's false. That dude's a fucking plant, and he's trying to hurt people. He's trying to rope in the magical people. And I hope that he gets found out soon enough. And people, I think, are finding him now. But Atlantis isn't in Texas, people. Can I tell you that? I know where Atlantis is. The big guys know where Atlantis is. That's probably also why they're terrified about where I moved to, because how would I move to Atlantis unless directed by the gods, by the creator, by the source? Almost like I've been coming home. Just like SirenSong Lover, I found my way home to Atlantis. Not by coincidence, almost as if by divine hand. And when I said where we were moving to, my mother freaked the fuck out because my mother was instructed to never allow me to end up here. My mother tried to gaslight me, shame me, get me to come anywhere but here. Yet, and I know this now because when I look back at like childhood memories, she brought me here once just as a pass-through because we were going somewhere else. She fucked up really bad by bringing me here. And then when we moved here, she got really scared. Well, she got really scared because she knew that part of her mission was to try to thwart me, keep me from here at all costs, because coming here would mean that I would be fulfilling the prophecy that was on my life. Checkmate. We wake up. We catch on. We make it to our destiny. So, yeah. It's funny when no one will give you answers and then you have to find them on your own. Anyway. Since I do know the alphabet boys are watching, because they're always watching, and they've been watching since I was a little kid. I told you I was part of a government experiment sold by my parents, right? They also should know that it's time to pay me and have a real discussion with me. And the fact that they've dragged their feet on that for so long is very telling on their part, but very upsetting for me, because you guys owe me a lot. And that contract is up. So there's no more ability to lie. There's no more ability to try and hide your hand. It's time. We know. I know. Everyone around me, well, they do know now, because I've been talking on it. And when you think nobody listens, no, they're all listening. Anyhow, let's see if there's any more cards in here. This, I think it's more me chatting about what's been going on spiritually and in my life, because it is all interconnected spiritually. These are all spiritual narcissists and demons that gaslight and rob, steal, kill, destroy, grape. It is spiritual warfare. Except for the dark side doesn't get to win. And they know that. They've tried everything to fix it in their favor. Time's up, man. You cannot violate free will. You cannot violate free will. That's a universal law. So even if you think you're the U.S. government and you can violate my free will, you cannot. And I know I have answers that you need. And it's in me, not on me. You can't steal it. Part of that, they did steal my DNA via my children. They stole my DNA because those were the only people that were allowed in close proximity to me. Yet, they don't actually have what they need. And then they try to find people who are close genetically related to me. Yet those people that are genetically related to me aren't actually related to me, because they put me in a family of dummies. Like, they transplanted me in a fake family, so even if they took someone that they thought was close proximity to me, related, they're not. So even when they tried to copy me that way, they can't. They need me, my cooperation, my DNA. And since I refuse to give it up willingly, and they don't have anyone that matches me close enough. Yeah. Okay. Remain calm at this time. Light worker. Okay. I'm gonna get out of this deck. I know that deck was... It was a lot of chatting. A lot of chatting about a lot of stuff. And again, that's all conspiracy theory, and you know, they've already called me crazy. I don't care. So call me crazy. I don't care. If I disappear, well, they've been trying to do that. They've been doing that. They've been silencing me. So what does it matter? And like I say, after all the experimentation, after all they've put me through, there are kinder fates awaiting me. Not them, though. Not unless they repent and come right and admit their actions and pay for their mistakes. That was the other part. You could come correct or face imprisonment and death. all those things you tried to wish upon me and do to me, those all come back to you. And anything that you steal from someone, it's cursed. So anyone that stole any money from me or proprietary rights or anything, it's cursed until they return it to the proper owner. So they won't actually get anywhere off of it. It's literally a poisonous seed because they don't have the correct vibration to make it work. Again, I know that's all heavy shit, and maybe you don't understand. The right people do. And they are watching, and they are listening, and they know. They also know I'm not crazy. They also know I'm very much alive. And I'm very hungry, and my animals are very hungry. And if you are the follower of the good book, you were told, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. That is a law that you follow, right? Even in some other texts, you're not allowed to trust other people, like trespass other people's free will. Like when you go and you look in Satanism Bibles and Luciferian Bibles or whatever they're called, you're not allowed to violate people's free will. That's a universal law. So even if you follow Dark Lords, you fucked up. I mean, I know that. You should know that. Yet you wanted to bastardize the teachings for your benefit. That, my friends, is hypocrisy. And again, even in your own text, it says you can't do that. So, it's funny that Lara had to come to Earth School to teach all of you that you've been doing it wrong this whole time. Okay, let me check something here. And all that jazz. Okay. I'm gonna pull into the Lover's Oracle for just a moment. Not sure why. I felt a calling to it. Of course, I did pull something about twin flame not a minute ago, but a little bit ago. So let's see if there's any messages about it. Okay. A message for you. Okay, I'm thinking of you this very moment. Your love fills me with light. I love you. All right. So if you have a partner out here, here's a message for you. I'm thinking of you this very moment. Your love fills me with light. I love you. Okay. All right. I am Lara Jo, SirenSong lover. Today I've been talking about some spiritual housekeeping manners that have been happening in my life, which is not just spiritual, it's actually in the physical. And I'm here to say that spiritual court had been called, and now it's coming into the physical, because as above, so below. So everything that's been done here, it's been called judgment on in the spiritual. And this is a war that's been going on for a very long time. We're just here to see it now, in the flesh, as it plays out. Let's see. Let there be closeness between you, but always give each other space. Love never claims, it simply allows and gives. Let there be closeness between you, but always give each other space. Love never claims, it simply allows and gives. I love this freaking picture. Gorgeous. One huge thing about loving me is knowing that I am very clingy, and I also need my space. I'm very much like a cat. I will love you on my terms. And Yeah, like my rest, my pulling back is for my own healing, my own regeneration, and having a partner that knows that that's, that's my thing. Power, you instinctively know what is right for you, and you have the power to say no or to walk away at any time. Power, you instinctively know what is right for you, and you have the power to say no or to walk away at any time. I've had to exercise this a lot in the last few years, especially with people that I had known for a long ass time, especially with the party I considered my twin flame, my other half. I walked away from them even. And that was like a loyalty thing. People like, oh, how can you walk away from your other half? Or how can you walk away from your family that you've been with forever? No, I have the right. At any point, I can say no. Because it's consensual. And it's also free will. I've been instructed at certain points to walk away with free will from the people that meant the most to me. And that broke my heart, and that was one of the hardest things I had to do. Yet these were people that had turned, and they were harming me more than helping me. And here's what I learned is that my peace is more important than anyone else's chaos, ever. I don't care who you are. I don't care if I birthed you. I don't care if you're my best friend. I don't care if you're my soulmate, my twin flame. I have the power, free will, to say no at any point, and so do you. So power, you instinctively know what is right for you, and you have the power to say no or to walk away at any time, no matter who the relationship is. And yeah, it's hard as hell, and it's going to break your heart, and your human mind says, oh no, I have to. Duty says, no, it doesn't. It does not. You have to do what's best for you. And I'm going to tell you, walking away from the family that was abusing me, even though I'd been indoctrinated, like family first, you must, your loyalties, no. That's what saved me, because my family was trying to kill me. Sacred union, honor and treasure your relationship, for it is truly sacred. That is the other part. There are people that will intentionally get in the way of your union, not realizing it's sacred. I've lost so many friends and family because they've tried to make me do things that went against my union, not realizing I get punished for that. And so does everybody else. So sacred union, honor and treasure your relationship, for it is truly sacred. Understand when you are on a certain mission, your relationship is sacred. You can't just go out and do whatever. Like people that would be like, oh, just go out and sleep around and have fun. I'm like, nope, I can't. It goes against my union, and I get punished for doing that. And I can talk about examples with that too. I can talk about all kinds of examples of how I've gotten punished for going against my union. It's very painful. And that's because I know better, right? It's like when someone that's trained in something and then they don't do something because they're being lazy, they get punished at a higher rate because they knew better. Time. You are trying too hard. Give it time. You are trying too hard. Give it time. Love that. That's a beautiful card. Also love how it has the eye on it, reminding us tap in to the ancient divine wisdom and knowledge. We live in a world where we want it now. Well, it's not how it works. So my money, you owe my money today. I feel like Rihanna, like, bitch, better have my money. You know what? I'm gonna take a teeny little ride, and I think I might have to play that because there are people that owe me lots of money, and they thought that by hiding themselves away that they would never have to pay. No, you owe me. If you don't pay me, your children will pay me. Your descendants will pay me. So don't make decisions based on guilt or what you think you should do, for it is only being true to yourself that you can be true to others. Don't make decisions based on guilt or what you think you should do. For it's only being true to yourself that you can be true to others. Yeah, I've had a lot of that going on. We have to get over the programming of doing what our parents want us to do. That's a very painful program. Or even society. All right, let's see. Okay. Twin flames, your passion ignites. Twin flames, your passion ignites. Okay. If I'd known that was the card, I probably would have put it back in the deck and not called it, and then it would have chased me again anyway. Because that's what they do. I'll see a card and I'll be like, I'm not going to call it. I put it back in and then it pops out. And I'm like, okay, universe. You squirrely little bitch. I love you. And what we resist persists. Like the things that we fight the most is what persists in life. Yeah. Life is a funny way of that too. Like, there are some of us children that had been dead inside since we were little kids, and we've prayed for the end since the beginning of time, only to keep living. I know that sounds dark and scary and whatever, but yeah, no, like, my father had made, he had said to me, right before he passed away, and he had said to me, I never thought I would live to be this old. And then, when I got to a certain point in my life, and I was like, I never thought I'd live to be this old. Happy Mars Day, Zyra. I never thought I would live to be this old either. And when I realized, like, because I had been so broken by the world that I never thought I would be this old. I always prayed that I wouldn't wake up, yet life will keep persisting. Like, life will keep chasing you because you've got a bigger mission. How's it going, Zyra? I don't know why that didn't come up on my phone. I mean, it came up on my computer, which is actually kind of where I needed it to come up, but not sure why it just came up on my phone. And why okay, I don't know what's going on with my chat, and that's okay. That's okay. Life has been weird. Hopefully you got some good rest. I woke up with some really heavy questions and emotions and shit on my mind, and then had some dreams. So it's been an eventful night and morning. Badger, go elsewhere, bro. Hey, go elsewhere, bro. Sorry, Mama. I just threw well, that just flew out my hand. Flew across the room and landed on my cat's back. Which actually was just... So I'm about to grab this card, but that was... Let's see what universe has to say about that. You may not always understand why certain things happen. However, there's always a higher purpose to the events in your life. Through turmoil, a blessing will soon be revealed. Perfect. Okay, so you may not always understand why certain things happen. However, there's always a higher purpose to the events in your life. Through turmoil, a blessing will soon be revealed. Good. Yeah, for me, I went to bed really early last night comparatively, except for I was awake forever, and then I was up really early this morning, and yet when I woke up, for me personally, I woke up early, and I started writing shit down because there's shit that has been happening that didn't make sense at the time. Well, it woke me up early this morning to say, hey, bitch, think about this. And then I was awake for almost an hour, and then I fell back asleep, and I dreamt about it prophetically. So it was, yeah. It was an interesting morning, interesting night for sleep myself. So I'm glad you got some good rest. I don't know about you. I haven't been feeling spectacular the last week, and I know it's because I have a lot of attacks coming at me. I have a lot of energies coming at me, personally. So, and I've had a lot of dreams. That is what no one realizes. The more you attack me, the more spiritually awake I get. The power, like, my powers get stronger the more attacks I get on me. So people keep trying to dish shit onto me, and I'm like, you don't realize that the more you put on me, the stronger I get. So I've been under heavy attack all week, but the heavier the attack, the more power I get, because that power just comes in straight for transmutation. So when I woke up this morning with fire in my ass, which is really what it felt like, I had more answers to questions I've had in the last year. I was like, oh, okay. And sadly enough, all of the answers that came in this morning pointed to so much corruption and so much tomfool fuckery from a major corporation and the U.S. government. So, all these attacks on me made me realize, especially the alphabet boys in the government and a huge corporation owe me a lot of money and a lot of answers. So the more shit that they put on me, the more I realize, like, hey, boys, you need to be knocking on my door to pay me. Because, more answers are coming to me. The other part of that, Zara, I'm just going to kind of speak on for a moment. How else do I want to say it? There's more I want to say on that, but, it's rankings, right? They thought that because they were the government that they had higher ranks, and it's like, you're dark, like, okay, I'm going to speak to this. Yeah, no, they owe me a lot. They owe me a lot of money and a lot of apologies, and it's due. It's due. We, there was an 80-year contract with the aliens that started in 1944. I love to speak on that because that was the year my mother was born. So they had an 80-year contract, the government, with the aliens, and that's up. So now all the shit the government's been doing, experimentation-wise, for the last 80 years, it's due. So I'm here to say, hey, all those trials, those tribulations, all that shit, your rent's due. There's no way to get out of it. Because now the people that they've been fucking with are now coming to collect. And then, so that part of it. And this is something I actually mentioned to someone very close to me 2 weeks ago. And ironically, the day we talked about it, that evening, because I talked to them about it that morning, and that evening someone had posted on TikTok about someone else, and it confirmed that. So what it confirmed was there are ranks in the spiritual realm, right? And even the low guys can't supersede, like, creators' power and ranking and anointing. So where people are getting themselves hot and heavy, like the government thinks like, oh, I can send these demons to attack her, not realizing that those demons have to follow a rank that goes up the chain to the creator. So if the creator, and I do know this, the creator has his hand on me, I have an anointing from creator, God's source. So the creator has a hand on me. So it doesn't matter. I actually just talked about this a minute ago, and I'm going to talk about it, not a minute ago, but I talked about it earlier. When they send demons to me, those demons come to me and they're like, wait, why am I woken up to attack someone that has God's hand on them? Because they can't touch me. They have to go back and collect from the people that sent them. So, like I say, I had spoken with someone who's very close in my camp, and I was like, you guys fucked up by sending me, like, Santa Muerta, right? I've had so many different deities sent to me with them not realizing that those deities, I hold, like, my name holds respects in certain realms. Actually, my name holds respects in all realms. So when they sent, like, Santa Muerta to me, not realizing that Santa Muerta, isn't allowed to touch me because creators got their hand on me. So when I had talked about that, and especially this was someone who I know that they had been around dealing with Santa Muerta, and it was like, yeah, you guys can't just go throwing shit at me because you don't realize who protects me. And like I say, Santa Muerta will turn around and, because I feed her and I honor her and I talk to her. I didn't conjure her, but I talk to her and I feed her and I honor her. She does have to go back to collect from those that sent her. Because the ranks. I know maybe that don't make sense and maybe that sounds cocky. It's just I've been around long enough and I've watched long enough to realize that that's how that plays. But I do love, because this was somebody I was talking to that didn't necessarily believe me, and a video had come up about how this girl was playing around where she shouldn't have been, and she sent a demon to attack someone, and because that person had an anointing on them and that chick didn't know, she was just young and sent that deity, and that deity had to go back and brutally mauled the one that sent it. And it was all videoed, right? It's all documented. And that popped up the day that I had talked about ranking. And I was like, yeah, no, what I speak on is true. And what I speak on, like, other people tried and true to it. Like, you may not see it directly in my life because you think you're protected, but you're not. And your demons that you sent to me are hungry. And because they can't collect off me, they have to come back to you. And if you can't pay or won't pay or refuse to pay, your family pays. Or the people you love the most pay. And I've been speaking on that for a hot minute, and everybody thinks I'm crazy. But I'm like, yep, no, just wait. I had a lot of people in the hoodoo community throwing all kinds of shit at me. And I love when it comes around, right? Over a year ago, Legba had contacted me. And I didn't conjure him, but he came in, I talked to him, we talked about, we did a little work together. And then, because I know the voodoo community has been sending me a lot of shit. I have picture proof of that, like the animal sacrifices they've done and such. But anyway, when he came to me and I spoke with him and I talked to him and, then I sent him on his merry way. Well, he has to go back and collect. But then people think, oh, you're evil. You're doing shit on me. No, man. It's just, I know what you did, I guess. I don't know. Is that right? You're still in? Did any of that make sense? Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. Okay, so my tattoo artist, he does a lot of demon shit, right? And, okay, he does a lot of demon shit, right? And he petitions demons using blood products. And I know, like, he's used my blood products, like, off of this tattoo. I know he's used my blood products to do, like, spell work. Him using my products to petition demons, not realizing that those demons work for me. And I watched his life fall apart after he tried to play with me. I watched how his life fell apart when he used the blood products from my tattooing to try and use work against me. And I'm like, yeah. So that's always the fun part, is when they send me shit and I'm like, yeah, you guys, you need to, no. This was a man who was very prideful about his hair, and he just got divorced, and he was nasty to his ex-wife. He's nasty to his ex-wife, but very prideful about his hair, trying to be something, even though, like, he's like 30 something and he's trying to relive his glory days. He lost his hair. Like, when I walked in and his head was bald because he had to shave it because he had long hair, very prideful. And like I say, I walked in and he had lost his hair because of something. I was like, yeah, man, you shouldn't have done what you did. And then not even a month later, his car died. And I was like, oh, man, you should have known fucking with, because I've talked to him a lot. I educate a lot. He and I have had a lot of conversations about right and wrong and hex hands, and he didn't want to listen. And he thought he knew better. But like I say, I also know he was turning around and using the stuff that he was getting from my tattooing, because he heavy hands, and all of us bleed a lot when he does tattooing. I noticed that, like, of all the tattoo artists, like, a lot of us, like, because he had another tattoo client that I'd seen one time, and we always bleed and ooze and seep a lot. Well, he's doing that so he can get, the good stuff to be able to use for his sacrifices and stuff. And, I'm like, here's me, like, I know that I'm a very powerful being. And to use my blood is a big deal. But what he doesn't understand is when you fuck me over and you do me wrong and you're trying to send me dark forces, using my blood will literally poison you and ruin your life. That's why I talk about energy siphoning off of me. People try to do it because they think, like, oh, she's really powerful and strong. Yet people who energy siphon off of me and aren't reciprocal, like, don't pay me, get incredibly sick. I watched one of my friends who was energy harvesting off of me. Her mom was energy harvesting off me. Her whole family was. And they were trying to get me caught up in their family sexually. And my friend got cancer. Has had many surgeries and has been really sick since she energy harvested off of me. She also messes around in hoodoo. And I'm like, yeah, it's really easy to see what fucking happens when you play dirty with me. So nobody listens, though. They think, like, oh, let me try this. And I'm like, oh man, the more you try, the harder you go, the stronger I get. You're just sending me more energy. You're sending me more demons to work for my army. You're sending me more angels to work for my army. This is also, and it's probably, maybe it's not obvious, but I'm just going to point something out. For being a girl, I am protected by a very possessive, strong, masculine energy. Always have been. I've talked about it before. I talk about it all the time. If you look at, like, the guardians in my house, 4 of my 6 guardians are masculine. So people come at me thinking, like, oh, she's just a girl. No, you don't understand who protects me. And these are very aggressive, mean, nasty masculine energies that protect me. So any man that tries to get too friendly balances against men. Deities, men, guardians. So, and not all of them were nice. I don't say all that to be, like, egotistical. I say all that to be like, you should start paying me, because my ancestors literally are shaking people down like fucking pocket change. Like, they're shaking them down. They're making shit go bump in the night. I was thinking about that too. I'm just going to talk briefly on an experience that happened with my ex. That man doesn't like jump scares at all. Like, cans of biscuits, he used to make me or my daughters open those cans of biscuits because he was scared of the pop. So I sleep well at night, especially now that I'm far, far away from him. Even though I live in an absolutely terrifying environment and shit goes bump in the night all the time around me. But he and I, like I say, he's a scaredy cat, even though he loves to jump scare people. So go figure that. He's a scaredy cat, And we were somewhere one time, and he had a guilty conscience, and something went. Yeah, no, he's scared. He's terrified, but he loves to jump scare people. I'm like, oh, okay. So he was up to no good, and we were in a foreign environment, and we were about to fall asleep, and he heard something that scared him, and like it caught my attention. It didn't scare me, but it caught my attention, and it did sound kind of demonic. And he's like, "What was that?" in the dark. And I was like, I explained what it was, like human terms, what it was, like a plausible explanation. But I was like, it's very telling that you don't like jump scares and little things scare you, and you're jumping at simple sounds in the night. So now that things are going bump a lot louder, I'm really curious as to how he's sleeping. And I don't sleep at night, but that's because I have a lot of people sending me a lot of negative shit at night. I have a lot of people, I mean, they do it at night. I mean, they do it all day long, but they do it at night too. So a lot of nights I'm awake because it's like, spirit's like, hey, you need to be alert. So, I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't love, like, jump scares. I don't love cans popping, but I'm also used to it because my family loved to jump scare me. I have an example, and it was funny because this thought stood out in my head. Like, there was an incident when I was younger, and my friend was sleeping over, and now mind you, my brother is 12 years older than me, and my friend was sleeping over, so he was like 20, 21, 22, and he jump scared into our room, and then he closed the door behind himself, and then he stood behind the door and waited for us to calm down again, and then jump scared us again. But then it also made me realize how my brother was one of the biggest monsters in my room. And they would attack me at night. They would attack me sexually at night. That was like one of their big MOs. But at the time, you know, you tune it out because, yeah. Yeah. There's things that my family normalized that now I look at and I'm like, ew, gross. Like, my brother used to always say incest is best, so molest your sister. And they always pass that off as a joke. And now I realize, no, it's because my brother was molesting my whole entire fucking childhood. And they did it to my kids, too. And my nieces and my nephew. Yet my kids and my nieces and my nephew all protect him. But no, my brother is very much into graping little children. And he loved to jump scare me as a kid. So, I don't love jump scares, but it's also one of those things, like, I've stopped reacting to it because I'm like, that whatever is over there that's gonna hurt me, it's better than whatever this is right here. Vulture. Okay, vulture. Depression, anxiety, worry that someone is against you. May not necessarily be anxiety. There may be truth to that. Fair woman. Dealings or relationships with a woman with blonde, gray, or white hair. So, yeah. All of my family is blonde, so that's for me. Beetle. Good fortune. There's good fortune coming. Yeah. And that is the part of it, is that when we know that it offends people, we stop doing it unless they like intentionally offending people. So, like, my family intentionally traumatized me. They intentionally traumatize me all the time. So it's now like, I'm not going to react to that. Yeah. Chair filled. Someone new is entering your life. Okay, so we got good fortune. Someone new coming to us. And then leg, stepping into a new experience. Awesome. Yes. For me, I've been saying it kind of all morning. I'm owed a lot of money by the alphabet boys, by the government, by some big corporations, and it's time for them to pay. So, yes, for me, there's good fortune. For you, there's good fortune. Oh, okay, Zyra. I'm going to talk about this in a minute. Let me wash my hands really quick, and then I'm going to grab some chips, and then I'm going to sit down. I want to talk about, because you and I talked about stolen inheritances the other day, and I want to talk about that, because I put some 1 and 1 equals 3 into that. I know that don't make sense, but it might. 1 and 1 equals 3. Why they've been stealing inheritances, especially if we have big inheritances. I was hoping to earn some money today so I could go I need to get a new vape because I'm almost on E. I know vapes aren't necessary, except for that's kind of one of the only things keeping me going. I need a vape. I need some caffeine. I need some fucking food in me. I haven't left this house since Friday. Since last time you donated, that was the last time I left the house to even fill any of my needs. So, yeah, I was hoping to... I need financial resources so that I can keep doing this. But yes, chips. Let me wash my hands. Let me get some chips. And then I'm going to sit down and spill some tea. Because that inheritance thing made sense today. Because there are those of us like you, probably, you're owed a big inheritance. I know I am. I know I'm owed a really big inheritance. That's why they went to all these lengths to make me disappear and kill me on paper. And they applied for conservatorship on me, too. That was part of what hopped in this morning, was that they applied for conservatorship, and the medical office that they went through was corrupt and paid for by my ex-husband's company, but they did genetic testing on me against my will. You see how that all starts to add up, but I'm going to talk about that for a minute, because I'm going to talk about why they do what they do. Come on, girl. Wait, okay. Me more. Thank you. Oh, that was my boot. Okay. Not only do we got chippies, you just had a kitty. Okay. Okay. Zyra. They know who we are before we're born, right? They've been watching us. And our birth is kept in the Vatican, right? So they know our path. They know who we are before we're born. So let's put that in. Number 2. Inheritances. Some of us are owed large inheritances. They know that too. So the government has been stealing our inheritances to work against us. That's why they go to all these great lengths, because some of us were left really large inheritances by our ancestors, and then they take that inheritance and then they roll it back into their greed and fund and exploitations. If you look at our government, it's very bankrupt, right? Because they've been doing a lot of bad things. They've been hurting a lot of people. Well, they've been funding that off of inheritances they've been stealing from us, businesses that they've been rolling our money into and then hiding from us. So it's like I don't know if you were here when I talked about how, you probably weren't awake yet. I had gotten a notification that I was supposed to get something on Saturday that I had to sign for from the U.S. Postal Service. Well, my parents used to work for the U.S. Postal Service, and also I pissed off a guy that worked for the U.S. Postal Service. I pissed him off, but that was because he's a part of this tragedy, this dramedy, right? But I was supposed to receive something on Saturday that I had to sign for, and it never arrived, and I never signed for it. So I'm not sure where that went. Yet it is another prime example of how the government keeps withholding the things that I need for my resources to be able to fund their shit. Except for, they're out of time. They're out of time. They had 80 years to fuck it up. Well, time's up. So they owe us now. And like I say, they all work together to try to end me. And I've talked about how on paper they have ended me. Except for I want to know what body was used to identify me, because A, I'm still alive, but B, anyone that tries to doppelgang me doesn't have the ink to prove that they're me. They don't have the ink to prove that they're Lara. I'm debating if I say my whole name, but they don't have the proof to prove that they are me. Even my niece, who was probably who they used, which we don't share genetic makeup like they think we do. They probably tried to use my niece, but my niece doesn't have nearly the amount of work that I do. So even if they tried to use her body, even if they tried to use my other niece, because they probably, if my other niece is still alive or not, I'm not sure if she is or not, even if they tried to use my other niece, who was a known drug addict, who's been a drug addict since she was 13, she doesn't have the tattoo work or the actual, like, work that I do, because she has a lot of tattoos, except for they're all icky, like, jailhouse looking tattoos. So that's where the match ain't matching, because there's tons of pictures throughout time documenting my tattoos. So anyone that tries to, any body that they try to pass off as me, you can go back and document. And because we live in the digital era, none of that goes away. None of the digital shit goes away. So anybody that's been doing cyber crimes against me, and they've been doing a lot, it's just building a case. And their time is up. So, and they have a lot of explanations. They've done a lot of experimentation. They've stolen everything from me. And their time is up. Because they had until this point before the ETs stepped in. They had an 80-year agreement to make it right. Does any of this make sense, or does it sound total tinfoil hat? And if it sounds total tinfoil hat, that's fine. I have a lot of documentation that I can talk about to what has been done and what's going on. And okay, I'm glad. So hopefully, and it's like the more people that know, or the more people that talk about it. Remember I talked about the other day, I'm like, when I talk about it, then other people can talk about it, or once it's introduced, because that's the other part. Once you hear it and you're like, I don't know, but then you start seeing things that support it and you're like, holy fucking shit, that crazy tinfoil hat girl, she knew what she was talking about. Because now you're seeing it with your own eyes. It may sound foreign when I first bring it, but once you actually start seeing it and you're like, oh, okay. It was like, oh gosh. It was the example of, like I say, how I was talking about spiritual ranking the other day and how you can't just attack anyone in the morning, and then that evening prime example came up of that with the person that I was talking about. So while she looked at me, I mean, she kind of knew what I was talking about, but I don't think she had actually seen it. And then when it came up and I had been speaking on that with her for over a year I'd been speaking on that with her. And then that very morning, I talked to her that morning, and then that afternoon, an example of it came up with it with teenagers. And I was like, are you going to believe me now? Or are you still going to call me crazy? Are you going to start acting right? Or are you still going to choose that wrong path? Because that wrong path is about to get you. You see. I mean, I've been talking on it. I've been watching it. I've been documenting it. I've been seeing it. Speaking on it with people, even though they thought I was crazy. Yet those things that I was right about are becoming so glaringly fucking obvious. That's the other part I realized, is that, when people were telling me I was right, and then when I started talking about the heavy, scary shit that they didn't want to acknowledge, they got real quiet and ran away, except for I was still right, and it followed them. So it was like, you guys should have listened the first time I presented it, or that was the other part of it. When I was right, this happened with my ex and his family. When I was right, and they denied, And then we all watched it play out. And I'm like, you knew I was right. You admitted I was right. You just thought I wouldn't know. Or, that was something my most recent ex, he'd be like, how did you do that? Or how did you know that? Maybe you should actually start listening instead of running away, denying, or being scared. All that shit that I was right on that they wanted me to not know or forget about. No, you owe me a lot of money. A lot of money. A lot of money. So, and honestly, the more they deny and hold on to what's mine and get my way, the more pissed off I get, the more my spiritual team gets. So my spiritual team, remember how I said they're shaking them down like couch cushion change? Like, you didn't want to do the right thing? Okay. Oh, your car blows up. Oh, your hair is gone. Oh, that person you love the most, they're no longer here. You should have done right by me. Because the people, and I say people, it is people too, but the entities that protect me have given you a million chances to be right. And all you can do is be wrong. So I don't know what else to say about that. I hate talking about shit because then people think it's a challenge. Like, I'm challenging their ego. No, man, I was trying to save you. You're really fucking up, and that's really going to hurt you. And it's not going to hurt me because I wasn't the one that sent it. I was the observer of it, though. I mean, I was the recipient of your bad behavior, so I know when it comes back for them, because I didn't originate it, but when it comes back for them, it's going to hit them 10 times harder because they should never have done it in the first place. That's a lot of heavy shit to talk about today. Except I've been needing to talk about it for a very long time. And the more we talk about it, the more it's like, okay, yep. So when all of it comes true, everybody's gonna be like, oh shit, that crazy girl was right. I'm gonna be like, yep. I know I quote it all the time from Rat Race where they're like, should have bought a squirrel for instructions. Like, I should have paid her for those instructions because it would have been better than ripping her off. Yeah. Well, the more awareness we bring, right? Because the more you're introduced to it. So in like a day when something pops off and you're like, nope, she called it. She was right on it. She knew what she was talking about. I'm very much about warning people, though, too. Warning comes before destruction. I talk about it because when it happens, people can't be like, I didn't know. No, man, you knew. I warned you. That check engine light was on. That check engine light's been on for a minute. I actually had that conversation with someone this week. Hold on. Let me grab a napkin. Let me grab a napkin and then I'm going to grab my phone to read this because this is a conversation I've had with two very distinct people within the environment, but let's talk about it. Okay. I need money so I can get more chippies. I know chippies not healthy, but at this point it's eating. That's kind of what I have to eat. That's like the remnants of what I have to eat right now. Which, yeah. I'm going to say this as well. My family has tried to poison me. It is time to farm again. I've been talking about that, but then, like where I am right now, it's hard to put down roots. Okay, so let's talk about this. while we were in Arizona, there was a fire that happened, and there are a bunch of mysterious fires around me and my family and stuff like that. But there was a fire that happened, and I never planted there. And what it made me realize was that I wasn't meant to plant in Arizona. Like, it was never meant for me to plant there. Well, when I moved into this house, and I had been in this house for over a year, I finally was brave enough to plant a hibiscus tree, or like plant a hibiscus plant. And that was the first plant I had planted in over 10 years. And it took so long for me to do. I mean, it took me a year of being in this house to plant that. And I was so excited, I was so happy, and it was so beautiful. And I love hibiscus, and it made me so happy. And then this careless dude brutally cut my hibiscus tree. Or my hibiscus, I keep saying tree, but my hibiscus plant. So it was like, I had waited so long to plant, to put any type of roots down. And then I finally did, and some dude brutally and carelessly and callously cut it back. It was very obvious it wasn't a fucking weed. And that's the other, like, I'm super tired of men coming in. And this was a man who wanted to try and date me, too. But he wanted to try and date me, and then he destroyed something beautiful that took so hard. Like, it was so hard to even do it. And then once I finally did it, this dude graped it. And he would have used, like, culpable deniability. Like, oh, I didn't know. It looked like a weed. No, it didn't. You intentionally, brutally destroyed something beautiful that I loved, that I'd finally put some roots down. And it wouldn't be so bad, but it's like every man has come in and intentionally done that to me, made me feel helpless in my own environment to have beauty and love and anything. Like, I can talk about that for days. Anyway, okay. Okay, so this text string, because I had asked for basic human decency from people that I was allowing into my environment. And they told me, like, if we're gonna fight, just don't bother. And I said, so this is how it started. I said, we talked about last week feeding and honoring ancestors, or they don't show up to do work for you when you're in a bind, and call on them. Being cruel to me means when you need me, I won't be available. It goes for ancestors and moms too. You almost didn't get food today. I don't have the resources to be spending. This is someone that I bought food for them, even though they were incredibly rude to me, that I couldn't afford to buy for them. Yet they still turn around and fucking slap me in the fucking face. So, and then they said, I told you I wasn't trying to fight. Just like you, I was expressing how I felt. I told you specifically what not to do. They always have conditions about what I can't do, which is talk about anything being accountable. Because they don't want to acknowledge their harmful behavior. They want to hold me accountable, which, yes, I can be held accountable, but hold yourself to the same accountability you hold me to. So, I told you specifically what not to do, because then you'll complain about us fighting and not getting along. I said, I have information that needs to be passed along, otherwise it will be silence going forth. If we can't get past the little stuff and you receive the info, I can't give you the big stuff either. Because this is someone that I'm trying to help them spiritually gain knowledge. But I'm like, I can't give you the spiritual knowledge if you can't even listen how to be a decent human being. I said, it's like a check engine light on the car. When you refuse to heed the warnings of the light, bigger things happen, and then there's more damage that could have been avoided. She said, yeah, that's not exactly little. I don't know how many times I have to tell you I'm simply not having the conversation. If you bring it up every time, we will simply not talk. I don't know how many times I have to tell you that. So, yeah. I'm like, I've been trying to give you warnings all along. Don't treat me like that. Don't do that. Because then they turn around and they play the victim like, oh, you're not talking to the family. Yeah, because they couldn't treat me like a basic, decent human being. They sure want me to feed them, but yet they won't actually feed me or treat me with human kindness. So yeah. Okay. Well, it's the check engine light. I've been warning that, hey, there's bigger problems coming along, and all they want me to do is be silent. And that particular one and I had just recently talked about feeding your ancestors. How if you ignore and deny your ancestors, when you need them, they won't show up. It's also how they've gotten in trouble spiritually. They've been calling on deities that they haven't been feeding or honoring. So when they enact that ancestor, that deity that was peacefully sleeping, to do their bidding, yet they don't feed them, they don't understand why their life falls apart. Anyhow, I'm going to say, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. So I thought about how many times my family, including my children, have tried to tamper with my food and poison me. Except for I was a child that used to play with oleanders and ate oleander flowers as a child. Like my mom, I told you my mom wanted to kill me my whole entire life, and she's tried. Our whole backyard was lined with oleander plants. So they've been trying to me, except for I grew up eating oleanders and playing with oleanders and touching oleanders. I was also a child that played with mercury. You know, like the mercury thermometers, I used to play with mercury. So I'm not like the others. They should stop. I don't know. Maybe all this sounds crazy, or maybe all of this makes sense, or maybe all of this makes me what it is. I guess they think I'm not human because they keep trying to end me, realizing that I know who I am, they know who I am. Door, opportunities are waiting for you. I know. Let's go. Star, guaranteed success. Okay. Oh. Even if I am crazy, what do you think they've done to get me here? If I'm crazy, what has been done to me to make me this way? And I'm not crazy. I'm not drug addicted. I'm not like, I was thinking about it yesterday. Like my call for cannabis is super heavy right now. And I love how this morning I'd seen where like cannabis actually is beneficial for PTSD and anxiety and stress on a medicinal level, which is what I love using it for. But right now I'm so fucking broke. Like, yeah, my anxiety, my panic attacks are super fucking high because I can't afford to medicate myself right now. Like, all of this is stone cold sober. I'm not on medicine. I'm not on drugs. The only stimulants I'm using other than what they've been poisoning me with is nicotine and caffeine. So they've created this whole story about me being drug. I can't afford it. I can't fucking afford to feed myself right now. I wish I could afford my habits of, like I say, cannabis, and I wish I could afford to buy my vapes and my caffeine right now. If I'm crazy, it's because what has been done to me to make me this way. And I've got all kinds of receipts about that. I posted a video. It was funny because I posted a video on YouTube about screenshots from texts that have been sent to me in some of the presents, like some of the animal sacrifices and all that had been sent to me by my family, my concerned family, my loved ones, my friends. And somebody said, should you post that? I'm like, why should they not get any of the glory for all that they've done to me? They've spent a lot of time, energy, and money to make me crazy. It's been a huge effort. A lot of people. They should get the credit for all they've done, right? They want to take all the glory for my good stuff. Why not take all the the credit for what they've done? Yeah. I'm not crazy. I've been abused by the U.S. government at that. We can talk about all that too. That's part of it. But that's the treaty's up. So I'm not crazy. I'm a living testament to all the experimentation that they've been doing on society at a global level. I'm a living testament to what they've been doing. Like, yeah. I don't know. Again, ready to be paid. Dark man. Dealings or relationships with a man with dark complexion or hair. I know I haven't pulled a whole lot of cards yet. There was a lot that I needed to discuss and let out today. There's a lot that needs to be discussed with the powers that be because they have a lot of answers. To not just me, to everyone. They've been experimenting on us. They've been poisoning us. They've been hurting us. And it's from the bottom all the way to the top. And it's in the medical field. It's in everything. Every institution has dirty hands. And I've talked about how I've touched probably every institution that has dirty hands. They've been in my life in some way. So when I say that a lot of people owe me money, that's no bullshit. I'm not the only one. I am the one that survived to talk about it. And that's the other part. I talk about how they need me alive and compliant. They need me compliant, but I won't comply unless there's truth and financial recompensation for all the bullshit that they've done. Lots of it. Because the corporation that's tied to the government, that's tied to a great deal of perpetuating my abuse, is a national corporation with transportation. And they've been transporting and losing children. And some of their associates, like the hotel chains that they're attached to, have tunnels under them for abducting children and putting women and men into sex trafficking. So there are a lot of answers that need to be given by a lot of corporations and the U.S. government about where are kids going. That also goes to the legal system. They've been stealing our kids. The medical system, they're stealing our kids. Police force, the army, stealing our kids. This is a lot bigger than anyone realizes. I do have the information on that, though. I do have the inside knowledge of how that all plays together. Consider me the missing link between all of the different companies to know. Like I say, I've worked in the medical field, I've worked in the realty field, aviation, and all those hotel chains. Like I say, Big Daddy, I won't say their name right now, but Big Daddy, I know how they have contracts with those hotels that have tunnels in them where those kids go missing. Because I was in the aviation industry as the wife, the byproduct of the man that was staying in all those hotels. And those aviation industries are known for losing children. There was an article this summer about how the travel system went down and there were children stranded and were unaccounted for during that travel system. And people think, oh, it can't happen to me. No, it can. And it does, and it will. Crazy? No. Survivor? Yes. Inside knowledge? Yes. Human guinea pig? Yes. Crazy? No. Oh, we didn't even add the Freemasons in there either. Like, we got all these crazy cults, all the religious. We got all those too. Like, the Freemasons have their hands and their mouths on me. The religious cults have their hands and their mouths on me. The Jehovah's Witnesses most definitely have their hands and their mouths on me. I was watching an article about I was watching a episode about cults and Jehovah's Witnesses again, about how they have so much within the church that they try to silence and buy people or silence them by discrediting them. It's like, yeah, no, it's happening. First-hand experience, know it. All right. Bull, do not back down from opposition. Show strength and fortitude. I have a lot of people in the legal are scared of me because I don't back down. Which I have a note into my lawyer, but he's not answering. Flowers, happiness. I need my flowers. I need my flowers. It has been, oh my gosh, it has been months since I've been able to buy myself flowers. And it has been months since I've been able to take care of myself. And, yeah. And it really fucking broke my heart when that dude mutilated my hibiscus, my flowers. So, flowers, happiness, it's coming. I won't back down. Not when they come. They're not that scary. The twins are fighting right now. They're doing Rochambeau, which I think it's funny to call them the twins because one's a ginger and one's black. But that makes sense because my twin is opposite of me too. So the yin to our yang, per se. The brothers, the twins, are the yin to the yang. So I get it. Firecracker, excitement! Hopefully that excitement will be money. Money, money, money! Money! Okay. Maybe that does make me crazy. Who fucking knows? This whole world's crazy. This whole world's gone to hell in a handbasket, so I don't know anymore. You know what's upsetting to me, though? I really was thinking about that. Yeah. I'll be singing more when I have money, when I have food in my belly, when I have nicotine, when I have caffeine, when I have weed again. The singing will be off the chain. That's what nobody realizes. Like, I do so much better work when my tank is filled. I'm a lot happier, I sing, when my tank is filled. I'm more productive and can do bigger shit when I'm satisfied. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll come back to it. I feel like I'm gonna come back to it. Yeah, I'm like, I'd be singing, dancing a lot happier. That was the hard part. I've lost financially. Financially, it just keeps getting worse. And it was like, when I stopped being able to do self-care and buy myself flowers and treat myself right, like, I lost a little bit of my sparkle. And then I don't want to play. I don't want to sing. I don't want to dance. And that's actually part of what everybody needs is singing, playing, dancing. But I can't do that when I'm starving. Can't do that when it all looks dark. Anyhow. Alright. The bigger brother looks like he got bested by the runt, his little brother. Dog barking. Advice from a friend. Advice from a friend. Let's see. What else? Yeah, it's so it is time for some sun, and the sun just got brighter. If you saw, I have a lot of people that do drive-bys, so I don't like being outside, because then that means I'm an open target. It's also why I don't go out in public a lot, because I talked about how I had the ex-boyfriend that's a murderer who definitely wants to unalive me. Well, I figured out last week he might be out. So being out in public and driving around is definitely not part of the agenda. And, my kids are in on that. My family is in on that. So it's not like and law enforcement is in on that and they don't listen. So, while I love being outside and I miss being outside, it's also hard to enjoy being outside because I'm constantly watching to make sure that someone scary is not going to be up on me. I don't know. Tired of men imposing their wills on me. Especially when they didn't earn the right to be in my life at all. It is time for some sun. Yeah, just, like I say, it's weird. I am going to have to go out and travel for a little bit. Like I say, I need to get out of this house for a little bit. I am afraid that I'm going to run into one of my other ex-boyfriends, and I'm going to try and keep it nice, but I really want to say some things to him because he's a little bitch, and his mom's a little bitch, and he said how he didn't want to be a slave, and I know that's a really harsh word, yet he's still a slave. He didn't change his ways. I know that's really harsh, but he had the opportunity. I gave him the knowledge. I gave him the tools, yet he didn't want to. Funnel. Period of frustration. Lessons to be learned. Tortoise, slowly but surely getting ahead. Okay, I'm going to talk about just a tiny bit more, and then I'm going to hop out. So, remember how I said that I had this corporation that is working against me, and they've been trying to suck the life out of me. They've been trying to suck finances from me. And this really kind of this is where it's funny. Because, I think of this associate I have that helped me. I mean, she helped me and we did great work together, but she kept just taking and taking and taking. And she didn't have the talent or the resources that I had. And then when she finally hit where it was too far and I walked away, it's funny because she didn't have any of that information other than from me. So when I saw who she was and I walked away, now she can't go and use that work as a source or as a credit in the spiritual world, because she did emotion code. She does a lot of emotion code, and her and I spent a lot of time, energy, emotions and such, and she kept trying to get me hooked in with her other friends. She wanted more and more and more, and she wanted me to do that, A, because she wanted that information, B, she wanted to keep all that money together. But in emotion code, her and I were working through stuff she had never seen, or that was very rare in emotion code. Yet, because she didn't give me reciprocity or my dues, she just kept sucking from me. When I walked away, she can't use me as a credit or the source because she doesn't have the answers for how I was doing the parts on my part with her in tandem for her part to be able to get those big results. So, I guess the biggest thing, don't cheat the source, because when we cut off, you're going to have all of this stuff, but no way to prove that any of it's valid or real. instead of being a dick to me, she could have done the right thing and we could have done so much greater together. But she always thought I would be there or they wouldn't see through her bullshit. No, I saw through her bullshit long before I cut her off. I was just giving her a chance to see if she would do the right thing or how she would play that. And she played herself right out of a really good case study. So, yeah. I don't know if any of that makes any kind of sense, or, I mean, that's just something funny that I've realized, is that all these people that wanted to steal my resources and play from me, it's like you don't realize that when the test comes, she's not the only one. A lot of people have done that, because a lot of my shit's like really deep, extensive, stuff like that, and once they catch them dirty, I move on. And they want to be like, oh, I have all this cool stuff, but they can't actually come credit me until they pay me. I have some readers that have done that too. Like, I've had people dip into my Akashics against my free will, and I know they do it because A, my ancestors alert me, but B, then they have questions because they run into shit. Like, I have readers that have gone behind my back and dipped in, and then because it's something that they've never seen before, they have to ask questions. And when they ask questions, I go, oh. You want, so readers that want to say they have really cool things on me, or like I say, practitioners that want to say like, oh, there's this really cool thing, but they didn't actually credit the source, they didn't pay me. So now they have this really cool thing, but they can't actually say how they got to it. They don't have the answers. So I'm like, and I warned them, I've told them, and they kept doing it, and I'm like, so a lot of people owe me a lot of money. And a lot of different modalities too. Like when I don't let it out often, but when people pull my birth chart, because my birth chart has a lot of really cool shit in it, my numerology has a lot of really cool shit in it, but people get, like I say, they get greedy and they don't want to actually do their part right, but then they can't do anything about it. I'm like, huh. It's like how my family, I'm going to talk about this. My family has a lot of video and evidence on me that they fabricated. But because it was done against my will, it wasn't done consensually. They can't ever use any of it. So they spent all this time, energy, effort, coordinating, trying to do really big shit, but it never comes to fruition because they didn't have my free will. And that is a violation of universal law. So, I don't know. I don't know if any of that makes sense, or if you have questions on any of that. Because if you ever have questions about any of that, I love to talk about that stuff. I love to give receipts on all that stuff. But I do think it's funny when people play me, because I'm like, no, and universe gives me the tea. I dream it, I smell it, I taste it, I sense it, I feel it. Yeah. And then people try to lie to me, and I'm like, don't lie. Don't lie now. It's like when I've stopped explaining to people now when they fuck me over, because I'm like, I gave you so many warnings before we got to this point not to do what you were doing, and you were playing in my face doing it, and you didn't think I knew. And I'm like, I knew the whole time, and I was calling you, and you just thought I was dumb. No, I was letting you get all that rope because you gathered all that rope for what? I would love to point on this. I've been under observation my whole life. Like I say, I've been a government science experiment my whole life. And then I have all these people behind the scenes, like I say, trying to do stupid shit electronically. And I'm like, well, first off, you're just catching yourself up with the big guys, the alphabet boys. So not only are they like watching me, but they're also watching you and all the shit you're throwing at me, catching you up. But somebody's like, you should be documenting, you should be taping, and you should be blah, blah, blah. And I was like, they've all already gone to so many lengths to create evidence on me, and they're not going to be able to get rid of all of that. Like, I would love to know how many videos, messages, everything that they have on me, because they're not going to be able to destroy all of that. So when their judgment comes, there's so much incriminating evidence on their part about what they've done. It's not even funny. Like, I didn't have to document shit. I didn't have to waste my energy because they've all done all the work for me. And like I say, I've been under observation my whole life. So why I don't do bad shit or be slipping, because I have been under observation my whole life. And when I do bad shit, I get punished twice as hard. So, like all those, I would love to know how many group chats have my name in it, because I know they have them. But how many different group chats have my name in it, because there's a lot. I ruin a lot of days and a lot of houses that I haven't been in ever, or I haven't been in years. I ruin days and lives just by the mere mention or thought of my name. And all those group chats, all those text messages, all those videos, all those everything recordings, because I have a few recordings of a few things, but not nearly to the extent and manpower and people that they have. So when they come to look at that too, like, if I don't have anything to hide, why would I record anything for documentation? And I don't have anything to hide because, well, everybody and their brother is in my life. So I'm ready to get paid. I'm ready to get paid. If you can't tell, like, they need to fucking pay me. Yeah. They need to pay all of us, but especially me right now. I'm like, that would definitely buy me flowers, make me happy, make me dance, like, get my... I need to do self-care so bad, like, and not just for me, like, I also have the ones I love that I want to take care of. That's what makes me mad too. They made me into a deadbeat mom. Well, they made me into a deadbeat mom to fit their narrative. Like, I would love to be able to do all the beautiful things with my kids, but I can't afford it because, fuck, I can't even afford to feed myself or my animals right now. And one of mine is saying how she needs a haircut, and she's been saying that for the longest time, yet she lives with a dad who makes, gosh, when we went through the court proceedings, the amount he made just by that point was ridiculous. And I know if they had actually pulled the next paycheck, it would have gone up exponentially. So here I am making nothing, and he's making probably close to $200 a year, plus he's got a wife. But yet they can't get my daughter's haircut. Like, how does that make sense? Like, this man and his wife are making a grip of money, yet my daughter is asking me to get her haircut. The deadbeat mom who has no money. Of course, I was always the one who took her to get taken care of. Of course, this was the kid who had to ask me to take her clothes shopping for back to school, which I couldn't afford to do, even though her dad's making all the money and he has a wife. I was never a deadbeat, ever. I was abused and left for dead. Anywho, those are going to be fun receipts for him to pay. That was part of, the judge changed his tune when we were in court because my ex tried to make the judge and lawyer look stupid over the money he made. And then when they realized that, hey, this dude's lying about the money he's making, and he's actually making a lot of money, and I'm not making anything, they looked at me slightly different. So he has a lot of questions to answer as to why he's being such a dickbag. Of course, he's also ripped off the IRS, so, you know, he's just building cases. I'm just ready to be paid. I know I keep saying that. Yeah. Maybe you guys will all believe me when my life is a movie. Alright. I'm gonna come back in a little bit. I'm gonna go spread around some energetics. So I'll come back in a little bit. Thank you for hanging in. I know it's been a long chat and not so much reading. It's just, this is shit that needs to be talked about. And it really does need to be brought to light, because the more we talk about it, the more we bring it to light, the more they cannot deny what they're doing to people. It's not just me. It's the whole entire civilization, the whole entire humanity. It's being done to everyone. So we have to finally start saying, I know what you did. You need to pay me. This isn't right. You can't keep exploiting us. I am not for sale. I am still alive. That is the thing. Okay, Lara Joanne Joyner Arnold, still alive. Lara Joanne Joyner Arnold, I'm alive. I'm not dead. Even though they've collected life insurance policies on me, I'm not dead. And I'm ready for people to start answering as to why that was okay that they did that to me. If they did it to me, they'll do it to you. If they do it to me, they'll do it to your mother, your sister, your wife, your daughter, your son. You say, oh, it can't happen to you. Well, that's not true. And actually, if you were complicit in it, that's even worse. Because when it does happen to you, then you say, oh, I don't understand how this happened. Well, you were a part of it. That's the thing that makes me so mad. How many people watched them do it to me? How many people were a part of it and thought like, oh, well, it isn't me. It doesn't matter. Well, no, it will be you next. Anyway. All right. I'll be back. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Provided that I don't, meet an unfortuitous end or get talked to by the Alphabet Boys, which I'm ready for that conversation. I know I keep saying Alphabet Boys, but it's so much easier than saying the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, whoever else. I've contacted the United Nations in regards to my case, and there's a lot of different people that know about me. A lot of people, like I say, that owe me a lot of money, respect, an apology, compensation, homes. They've stolen homes. They've stolen all kinds of shit. And y'all can say I'm crazy, except for, no, I'm the living proof. And I have all the different contexts to prove how many dirty hands have been on me. So, and all the ways of abuse. Oh, gosh. It's been fun. Like, they kept adding up things, because we live in the digital era, right? They just keep adding little crumbs onto the maze. And once it's out there, it can't be undone. So, all right. No, thank you, Abel. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good time. I'll be back later. Bye.